Greetings, everyone. Hello. Welcome. Hi.
Hello.
I am a new face for anyone who's watching. Hello. My name is DM Dan. I am here on behalf of Explorers of Elsewhere, and to have hopefully quite a lot of fun with these four beautiful creatures and all of you who are watching and donating in a frenetic frenzy. Thank you to Nate and Chris for giving us this opportunity to play. We are going to play a little game called Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I think it's one of those games where when we saw it, we knew it was going to happen. We were going to play it at some point. It was just a case of when. And what better time to play it than now? Yes, my name is DM Dan. I'm over on Explorers of Elsewhere, along with actually all four of these players have been on EOE at some point in time. These four being, let's start with Georgia. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm feeling remarkably fabulous, thank you. Georgia, you were on the Doctor Who. I really enjoyed the Doctor Who segment. That was a good laugh. Really glad and thrilled to have you here.
Thank you for having me back.
That's all right. Next along is Errol. Hello.
All right.
How you doing?
I'm okay. It's going to be weird not playing a little goblin, but we roll.
we're just flexing your role-playing chops. Because I think your character, as we'll see in a minute, is anything but a little goblin. Next along, hello Julia. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Very much looking forward to this.
Yes. I think when we first discovered TSL, we were kind of giggling quietly to ourselves about playing it. So, yeah, I'm really thrilled that we can pop that bubble together. And lastly, hello, Livy. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, good.
You are going to be bringing some... everyone else is bringing some degree of refined sophistication with their lesbians, and you are bringing the energy.
I'm bringing the energy. I'm bringing the party, as I know best.
Yes,
the only thing I know. Love it.
Thirsty Swords Lesbians is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. Fundamentally, the characters here have a number of stats. The stats off the top of my head are daring, grace, heart, wit, and spirit. The 5 tools with which our lesbians will navigate this short adventure. To see if the characters do or don't manage to succeed on doing things, 2d6, like 2 dice will be rolled. They will add one of the stats to that roll and then see what happens. The world of, the universe, the galaxy of Thirsty Sword Lesbians is one that is heavily steeped in emotional conflict and turmoil, almost as much as physical, acts of daring, I guess. So there will be, there's a currency that they'll have to be able to kind of influence either each other or the people around them. Those are called strings. You can consider them as heart strings. But yeah, we've all kind of gotten together. We've figured out a little story as to what we're going to be going through today for you all today. I think we'll introduce the characters and then I will quickly talk about the donations that you can donate while we're playing to directly influence the game. Your money to AGT will be adding to the sheer volume of chaos that we're going to be wading through. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how much you can all collectively make me squirm while I'm running this.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. So first things first, I will swing back to Georgia. Who is your character?
I will be playing Camilla. Are we mentioning the classes that we're playing in this game? I suppose.
Yeah.
I will be playing an infamous. So she is a former cat burglar trying reluctantly to atone for past mistakes and past misdeeds. She is a lovely green alien, tight bodysuit, blonde hair, knows it, darling.
Amazing. Next along then, Errol, who's your character?
I am playing Ravani. Ravani is the class is a scoundrel. Ravani is older than she seems by the stories that she tells, and she has slightly pointy canines in her wonderful, fully painted red mouth. So take from that what you will. And she almost exclusively wears evening wear.
Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing. Julia, who are you bringing to the party?
So I'm playing Aggie, who is classed as a spooky witch. So she wears a lot of black and purple. She has some ooky spooky powers. She's got a little sort of alien slime that she keeps as a pet who helps her out sometimes in dangerous situations. But she doesn't really fit in. She's a bit of a weirdo, and she tends to stick up for the other weirdos in society.
Okay, amazing. And last but certainly not least, Livy, who are you commandeering into this adventure?
I'm playing Mitzi with 3 E's. Spell it right. She is the beast, and she is large and in charge, I think is maybe one way to put it. She's big, she's brash, she's brazen.
She's furry.
She's furry. She's got wolf ears. She's got a little tail. She's got claws. But if she likes you, she's a golden retriever. If she doesn't like you, she's a feral wolf. So
Very good. Amazing. So yes, these 4 very, very different characters, all being brought together for one particular reason. The reason itself being a daring heist during the reception of a high-profile wedding. And these 4 disparate individuals have been brought together for one kind of very particular reason within that heist. For it would seem that the bride of the wedding being a high-profile event, celebrated and lauded throughout the galaxy-spanning Imperial Patriarchy, this bride, this beautiful, beautiful bride, is in fact all of their exes. Well, they are, the characters are all exes of the bride. So yes, there is already some emotional turmoil.
Already so much mess. I love it.
So much mess sat underneath the foundations of this heist. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Whilst our lesbians here are on the heist, as I say, your donations will be able to translate into in-game effects. So any donations for £5 will force the next roll, if it's successful, to be re-rolled. If you donate £10, it will force the next unsuccessful roll to be re-rolled. If you donate £20, Errol's character Ravani has a playbook move called Rip, where consensually on Errol's part, but perhaps accidentally on Ravani's part, Ravani will lose a piece of clothing, and we just run with the narrative from that. And finally, for £40, a big old chonkus £40 donations, regardless of what is happening, we will, for all intents and purposes, immediately interject with a sudden romantic kiss.
Nice.
And the participants of said kiss will largely depend on when the donation is received and acknowledged, but I'm sure you can appreciate the shenanigans that could come of that, should that be timed beautifully. Cool. So we have an idea of why we're here. I think we I'll be ready to jump in, begin the heist.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. So, while this is all happening, the four of you are aboard a small kind of a relatively small ship, one that is owned by Maggie, our spooky witch. Aggie here, our spooky witch. As you hurtle towards one of the satellite moon bases of the planet Sapphic. And Aggie, you being a relatively kind of low-key and law-abiding citizen within the oppressive Imperial Patriarchy, you are able to kind of bypass a lot of the kind of patrols and the blockades that kind of protect this moon, as you're just seen as a standard kind of commercial vehicle.
Nice.
I think just to give everyone a flavour, as the little kind of wedding venue on the surface of the moon of Sapphic gets slowly bigger in the viewfinder on the windscreen of this ship. Let's start with Mitzi. I mean, you know that your ex is the bride. What's like one point of kind of sticking it to him are you hoping that you'll be able to pull off today?
I think just causing sort of uncivilized chaos is in this very civilized. I think as what we want to do with all of our exes, just show that we're doing much better without them.
Sure.
And I'm doing great. I'm with 3 other beautiful women on a plane, on a spaceship, looking cool. So suck on that.
Amazing. In which case, as we zoom away from Mitzi, I can almost imagine you kind of leaning against one of the metal interior walls with the your biceps bulging slightly in your neon pink leather coat. Who does your gaze kind of fall on as you glance around the rest of the crew?
I just thinking about my ex, the bride. I can't help but look over to Camilla.
Okay.
Who was the partner of my ex straight after, maybe even at the same time, after me. So just thinking, well, did she go up a rung on the ladder?
Well, Camilla, you noticed that the wolf girl on the other side of the kind of crew compartment is glancing over at you. But what is it that you're doing as the ship begins its entry into the moon's orbit?
I think I'm leaning over the chair of I suppose Aggie is driving, leaning directly over to glare out of the viewfinder, whatever kind of seeing contraption we have, a windscreen, if you will, to critique the wedding decorations that we can see growing larger in the.
You notice that this is absolutely an Imperial Patriarchy funded event. You can see a number of banners with the the Imperial Patriarchy logo, which is so effectively it was 3 circles almost in a triangle, but the top pillar of the nobility, being that they are so much more important, they're sort of raised up above the other 2 circles at the bottom, and that is proudly displayed and broadcast out into space to declare that this is the land of the land of the patriarchy. But yes, as you peer out, some lunar dust hits the windscreen, and Aggie has to like turn on the windscreen wipers to kind of clear that off a little bit. But yeah, what are you hoping to introduce to this this wedding during the heist? And again, to kind of get it into the bride.
Or is that me or Aggie?
For you, Camilla, yes.
Just to show her that I'm fine. I'm completely fine. Absolutely fine. Couldn't be better.
Okay.
That's the voice Camilla talks in when she's totally fine.
Yeah, absolutely fine, darling.
Marvelous. Well, given that you are kind of towering over Aggie, who's sat in her little, sat in a little driver's chair with a steering wheel, because obviously spaceships have steering wheels and windscreen wipers. Aggie, how do you feel about kind of being co-opted into this heist? Like, how did this come to be?
Well, I was just chilling at a spaceport, hanging out with my best friend Mitzi, and Mitzi got a call from Mitzi, said, "Hey, come to the bar. I've met 2 really interesting people. We've got a proposition for us." And apparently they needed my ship, and here we are. And actually, weirdly, it turns out that we've all dated my girlfriend. She hasn't called in a while. She just sort of stopped calling a few months ago. But I assume she's busy. So it's actually quite exciting to see her and catch up. I heard she's getting married. Woo! Didn't know about that. I thought I would have heard, but it's fine.
Yeah. Would you say you're excited to be flying to your girlfriend's wedding with 3 of her exes?
Excited is one word. I mean, excited, yes. Confused, certainly. Bitter's a strong word. Let's just go with confused. Sure. And something's going on in the old tum-tum. There's some butterflies, and whether those are excitement butterflies or something else, who can say?
And if nothing else, what one thing would you like to introduce to this wedding and or get from the wedding?
I think closure. I think closure would be really nice. Just an answer, really, like what happened, and was it something I did? Yeah. Was it her, not me? Like, I'm fine. Like, we're all fine. I've got a crew now, and this is really nice. Flying through space with my bestie and my 2 new friends, but like, sure, would be nice to know what happened there.
Sure. In which case, as you think about these 2 new friends, one of them is looming over you. But as you glance to the final lady on your ship, Ravani, where are you? What are you doing?
I feel like in most of the areas of the ship, Camilla has introduced a number of chaise lounge seating areas as is her favorite. Right, with very tasteful fabrics. And I feel like there's a chaise lounge behind the driving seat, and Ravani is kind of lounging on it, and she's plucking a sitar, which is a very long-necked string instrument. And she has one of the long cigarette sort of style smoking tube things. But I suppose in space it's somewhat of a vape. So there's a cloud of floral vanilla essence kind of pouring from behind. And as she's kind of plucking the instrument, she kind of gets up and walks towards Camilla and kind of leans over to look at these decorations. And she goes, "Florals for spring, groundbreaking." And just kind of smirks at the rest of them as we approach the wedding.
Okay. As that happens, Aggie is beginning her sort of final descent into the space dock on this moon base, and you can hear the radio sputter to life as the comms tower begins kind of directing you in to make sure that you're kind of landing in the right place. Takes your identification codes. Just a very boxy. If you could park on the runway on the right, please, that would be grand. Thank you very much. You're found in the queue. And yeah, before long, your ship lands and the runway starts sort of like moving along like a travelator to kind of move you into the spaceship car park that they have here at the venue. You can see like a number of patriarchy ships that take the form of the insignia of the patriarchy, just kind of flying around in formation, just billowing out the most manly colors in like space dust clouds from behind them. And yeah, your spaceship is docked, and you're able to to exit. You can see that there are a lot of nobles kind of loitering around as you make your way to for all intents and purposes, it almost looks like a beautiful, almost like a countryside hotel style reception area. You can see that there's some sort of accommodation building. It's all built on the side of this big like weapons research factory of sorts. But this is just the bit where the patriarchy get married, obviously. But there's like a little there's a grounds in front of like a garden type area. You can see a lot of people kind of loitering around and like sipping on like protein shakes. And there's an abundance of statues, David style statues, just really well-toned and muscular naked men with like jets of water coming out of various orifices. And yeah, the low kind of murmuring hubbub, the excited hubbub. It's clear that the ceremony has concluded. That would presumably have been for like immediate high ups and like family and whatnot. But the reception seems to be a much more curatedly public event that you've managed to wangle your way into. But as you stand like at the edge of the gardens that lead onto the building where, with the tables where they'll be serving food and the inevitable dance floor and the kids skidding along on their knees and whatnot, as you kind of take this all in, what's your plan first? I suppose we should say what the target of the heist is, shouldn't we? In which case, yeah, there's a group of older gentlemen in very, very tight form-fitting suits, and they're wearing the customary Imperial Patriarchy, like it's a new fashion of like arseless chaps. So they're just discussing, and I must say that she looks splendid wearing that beautiful necklace. It was mined from the most prestigious blood mines of Mangalia 5. Lots and lots of people unnecessarily perished for that jewel, and it looks absolutely marvelous on her. She should be really pleased that she was given permission to wear such a marvel of mankind.
Oh, God.
And with that, your minds flicker to what you know to be the enormous pink star-shaped jewel necklace that you have heard that your ex, the bride, is going to be wearing. So, as you stand on the gardens, say there are people loitering in the gardens, there are people loitering inside as well. Where would you like to begin this? What's your first steps?
Ooh.
I suppose we want to go see where the bride is.
Sure.
We want to assess who's around her.
Yes.
And if we can somehow either get her alone to steal the necklace or cause a distraction somehow.
Okay.
I like that.
In which case, as you kind of look around, I won't ask for a roll. You just do a little bit of kind of tete-a-tete and passing conversation. There are definitive sort of like looks at the four, like up and down glances at the four of you, as well, this is certainly a black suit and tie affair, you understand. And you've come in and injected arguably the most amount of colour from any of the from anyone else here. But you hear that the bride is currently located in the main building, like in the reception hall, seemingly kind of getting like talking with high lords of the Imperial Patriarchy, and just kind of shoulder rubbing for future diplomatic relations, etc., etc. Yes.
Is there any music happening?
I think there is. It's either what would we say is the most like super masculine music, and why is it like early Justin Bieber?
Okay, so if it's early Justin, what would be playing?
It's like baby, but it's on like violins and like slow and romantic.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't sing anymore because we'll get copyright claimed. But yes, there is. You notice that the orchestra is made up of a number of orchestral bots, powered by the most cutting edge AI, and they are just gently like the beautiful tones of Justin Bieber are kind of playing out from these electro violins. Yes.
Second question and last question for now. Are there any visible bridesmaids?
Ooh, that's a really good point. Because none of them are safe from Rivani. The roving eye of Rivani.
You know what?
Bridesmaid, like.
So what I'll say is, like, unlike weddings on the Outer Rim, where men aren't completely repressing anything to do with women, you notice that because the impats don't want to introduce too much anarchy to this formal event, the bride has been allotted a singular bridesmaid. Because any more, and it would just be bedlam.
Is it even someone she knows? Or was she
a state assigned bridesmaid? No. Errol, I will let you tell me who the bridesmaid is in relation to the bride. Like, if it's her mum or her sister or her best friend or whatnot.
Ooh, best friend is juicy, isn't it?
Yeah, best friend is juicy. I don't know why my brain immediately wanted like young mum. Maybe that says something about me. So maybe an aunt. Let's split the difference. An older aunt, the one that she confided in when she was younger. So she knows, the aunt knows her well, is trusted by the rest of the family. Yeah.
And I'll let you. So I'll let you choose like 3 adjectives for the aunt, and then we'll decide whether she was allowed because she towed the line, the Imperial Patriarchy line, or she was allowed despite the fact that she's a bit of a rabble-rouser.
Ex-military.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Mother.
Uh-huh.
So she has a young kid somewhere.
Right,
Yeah. Has suppressed her rebellious side, and maybe why she's ex-military.
Okay.
And is incredibly good at keeping secrets.
Okay.
Is she mother or mother?
It's important. The difference is
very important differentiation.
I think she was one, then the other. Yeah.
But which way? We will find out. Okay, so she's a rebelliously suppressed ex-military mother who's fantastic at keeping secrets. Grand. In which case, as you head into the main building, like the reception hall, you pass through like an archway of almost like a garden archway with like flowers curving round the metal framework. As you go through, you acknowledge that it's clearly a patriarchy one, because no real consideration to the quality or the layout of the flat. Like they're quite like it's there almost for show, just because like we've been told that we're supposed to have this here, so we'll just put in whatever.
Everyone expects flowers at a wedding.
Yeah. It's almost cardboard cutout in style. But as you head into the reception hall proper, you can see that the tables are like serving staff are going around setting the tables and whatnot. And in the center of the room, in what you assume to be will be like the dance area, at some point this evening, you see, and Nate, if we could bring up the picture, you see a glimpse of your past in a beautiful and traditional flowing white dress. Her sort of like flaming red hair, pulled back into a little bit of a bun. Her makeup done by the finest aestheticians of the Impacts could afford. Clutching a bouquet of very stock pink and red kind of rose-like flowers is the bride. And perhaps in this moment your hearts flutter for one reason or another. Your hearts skip a beat. But she is currently talking to, as you suspected, a number of the High Lords. You can see that sort of like behind the bouquet that she's holding, like at her chest, dangling from a relatively thick and sturdy looking necklace chain, is this 8-pointed pink gemstone. Like pointed star-shaped gemstone, as large as Mitzi's fist. Like the thing is absolutely ginormous. You wonder if actually it's super heavy to wear. And as the four of you, beg pardon, sort of like stand and peer at the bride from across the room, there is a moment where she turns, and you can't. And like she pauses for a moment before turning away, and you can't quite gauge whether she saw you and acknowledged you or not. As you look around, also gone.
Can I use a move at this point? Just, I guess it's figure out a person for direct interaction, or can you use it a bit like insight in other games to try and figure out, did she fully see us?
So if you would like to use the figure out a person move, that is simply if you try to understand a person. So yes. I think this is absolutely fine.
Okay. So my wit is 0. So I'm just going to roll 2d6.
The 2d6. So yes, again, the way that this works, empowered by the apocalypse, you roll 2d6, you add your stat. 6s or less, once everything's added up, are downbeats. Something not great happens. 7s to 9s are mixed beats, so good and bad, and 10 pluses are good upbeats. So something good happens. So yeah, let's see what the dice. An 11.
It's an 11. Yes.
An 11.
So I this is why I asked, can I do it when we're not in a direct conversation? Just because there are questions now, but they all seem to be addressed directly to somebody. I guess what I'm trying to establish is, did she notice us, and how does she feel about us being here?
I think we can. Yeah, you can still pick your question. So because you've rolled an
I guess
upbeat...
it's the what are your feelings towards us? I guess if she did see us, is she trying to ignore us, or did she just miss us altogether? That's the first thing.
Okay, so sorry, feelings towards us, and what was the second one? Sorry.
Well, I'd also be quite interested.
Because you can bank that for later.
Can I? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, so what are your feelings towards us? So as the bride looks over, Aggie, you kind of adjust your glasses ever so slightly, you notice that there is a very well disguised, but not quite well enough for your eyes, a disguised look of like frustration, perhaps. Not surprise, not like, oh god, it's almost, it was a like a slight squint of the eyes, pursing of the lips.
Okay, because the follow-up question I was going to ask, there is one that says, what do you love most? But I think I kind of want to take the spirit of that and adapt it into, is she happy? Is she happy about what's happening? Is she in love with the person she's just married, basically? Is that frustration possibly about the fact that she's in a bad situation?
Sure. So as you wonder this, I guess there's a part of you, like I would argue that the four of you don't really know that much, if anything, about the groom, perhaps.
Well, nothing, yeah.
Or maybe this is just a thing for Aggie, but Aggie, as you wonder, like, I wonder if she is happy. Like, is she happy? Is this the happiest day of her life? And as you wonder who she's gotten married to, you feel this presence.
Whoa.
Like, just, you've like a cold sweat that like travels up your spine and like tickles the bottom of your neck slightly. You just feel something encroaching. And from behind you, Nate will need the picture in a moment. From behind you, you hear, well, what do we have here? And as the four of you turn, behind you, stood in the archway to the entrance hall, the doorway to the reception hall, is a rather physically unwell kept man. He's got a white suit, the same material as the dress, a white waistcoat underneath that you can tell is stained with some sort of orange, dusty Cheeto powder coloured dust. There is a neon green Mountain Dew coloured katana sheathed across his waist, and as you turn to him, with one hand he strokes the beautifully luscious neckbeard, and then he grabs the rim of his fedora and he tilts it towards you.
If you say milady, I'm going to murder you.
What beautiful women we have here. Hello, miladies.
Oh no.
If I had known.
We murder him. End of it.
Stab.
Yeah.
If I had known.
How do I do a fight move, Dan? How do I do a fight move?
Come on, I'm trying to do serious roleplay here. If I had known that my bride would have had such beautiful friends, I would have tried to get to know you sooner.
I just clutch Mitzi's arm in horror.
The two fingers pinching the rim of the fedora sweep along the front dramatically, and then with a flourish, he holds out a clammy hand to shake. He retracts the clammy hand. and it returns to the fedora. I must admit that my bride has not told me about you. Please, you must tell me who you are. You must tell me everything.
Oh.
And his attention focuses first on Ravani.
I think Ravani retrieves from elegant purse that she has brought with her, like a napkin and handkerchief that she is willing to burn afterwards, and kind of dabs herself a little bit with it and kind of hands it over to him. It's just maybe it has been a long day, so perhaps you would like to refresh yourself a little bit. I am Ravani. I am here to entertain people should they want a little bit of extra attention and to hear my voice sing and my instrument as well.
Milady, I would love to hear you sing. He says, sorry, did you give him the handkerchief?
I did, yes.
Okay. As he says that, he clutches it in his palm and then tucks it in his back pocket. He looks to Camilla.
Camilla, darling. And she puts out a hand, but then retrieves it quickly before he can touch it.
Yeah, there is a definite quick grab to try and get your hand, but
charmed, I'm sure. I am, as you can probably tell, quite the expert on these sorts of things, you know, gatherings and, stylish events. You must tell me, what beautiful trinket is your bride wearing? Where did you get it?
Dan panics because he forgot to write down the name of the planet that the blood.
Mangalia.
Mangalia, that was it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Mangalia. Well, it's good. It's good that a female such as yourself would ask about such things as culture of the patriarchy. But yes, it is the star of Mangalia. Star of Mangalia. It is one of the rarest and most expensive trophies of the Imperial Patriarchy.
Oh, indeed. And, well, something so rare and precious, there must be, hundreds of security measures on it at the moment. Would you give me just a little peek? And can I implement an ability that I have, which I, pretending to be a villain, wins a villain's trust?
Ooh. Yeah.
And I gain a string on them.
You gain a string on the groom.
However, there are three options of what will arise from that.
Okay. Yes, I go on.
So either someone watching comes to the worst possible conclusion, possibly that I like the room. The villain requires an act of villainy to prove my intentions first, or the villain is only pretending to trust, and the opportunity is a trap.
Okay. Is it something that you roll, or is it just happens?
It's just one of the options. Yeah.
Okay. In which case, the groom starts detailing some of the security details. Whilst he's quite comprehensive, I will caveat that you do get given his excitement, every so often he stops and squeeze, and shakes a little bit, and his jowls wibble as he does it. And he tells you that not only have we got some of the finest marksmen and guards in the Whim, just kind of dotted around, and looking around, you can see some Imp Pat troopers kind of loitering around with their blasters. He also tells you, but one of the one of the people I am most excited, most excited to be protected by is, well, she didn't tell me her name, but she just refers to herself as the bodyguard. And as he sort of like looks across the room, you notice that upon your initial glance, you wondered if there was actually just this unmoving pillar in the middle of the room. But now that you're kind of looking at her properly, you notice that Nate will need the bodyguard, please. Yeah, stood in the middle of the room, like hands clasped at the small of her back, in a black, a shiny black body armor similar to that of the Imperial troopers, is this absolute Goliath of a woman. She, like, her dark hair is kind of like falls down her shoulders and like down her back. You notice that her left arm is bionic. Her left eye is replaced with a rather large kind of circular cybernetic eye. And well, Mitzi, if nothing else, as the four of you glance over, you notice the bodyguard looking back, and you can almost hear the sound of the leather stretching under her bicep as she like tenses up slightly, as the bodyguard is looking over in your direction, like towards you four and the groom, and like the eyebrow that she has left furrows slightly.
Aggie just sort of lets go of Mitzi's arm so as not to give the wrong impression.
Yes, the bodyguard has clocked you. And yeah, she assumes the worst. So what was it? Was there anything else from the move that I need to grant you?
No, that was it. Just a string, and they give me the information that I'm asking for.
Sure. Cool. In which case, he looks to Aggie.
Oh, Aggie's been sort of staring off into space, and she goes, "Oh, me? Oh, I came from space, but I suppose we all did, didn't we? In a way."
Such a beautiful angel as yourself clearly came from the heavens.
She sort of looks over her shoulder and goes, "Who are you talking to?"
Why, you, milady.
Oh, okay. And Aggie just doesn't. It's just like just staring at him, going, "Are you all right?"
You ask because it seems like he is having trouble breathing every now and again. But he.
Do you need assistance?
He sort of like not like you. Well, he's starting to sweat. That's definitely happening. Stood in front of the four of you, he's definitely getting some sort of heart palpitations. Speaking of heart palpitations, he looks to the physically largest of the four of you. Yeah, Mitzi.
I think Mitzi, just during this whole conversation, she stole one of those protein shakes off one of the chairs. She's come in, and she's just slowly just crushing it to her hand, and she drops it onto the floor in its crushed state, and just puts a hand out to the groom to shake his hand. She'll shake his hand.
Okay.
And then she takes his hand. It is the strongest grip
Yes.
that you can.
Like, as he goes to turn your hand to slobberily kiss the back of your hand, he just as you tighten your grip before finally releasing it. And I didn't know that my bride had three beautiful lady friends and you.
Oh, I just.
Mitzi's still holding his hand at this point, just for longer and longer, just slowly bringing him closer using that hand to just kind of travel up his arm and just. Sorry, my name's Mitzi. What was your name again? I forgot.
Well, I have many names from all around the galaxy. I have many titles and many protestations from the masses, but for today, I will merely adopt my official Wankum title. Oh God, that was
Rank and title, Dan. Nothing wrong with what you just said.
Yeah. Today, you can simply refer to me as the Groom.
May I interject, or Mitzi, did you want to finish a conversation topic? Are you good? Okay.
I know she's just silent. She still has his arm. She's just silently just staring about that far away from his face.
Okay, good to know. So, as the bodyguard is kind of observing us, it seems, as we are speaking to the groom, I'd like to kind of, as the bodyguard kind of is looking at us, like raise my eyebrow, kind of bare a fang and kind of give it a little lick, and then turn to the groom and go, "Groom, you are the groom. You seem so very capable. You've organized this wonderful event, and your bride must be very proud. But it pains me to see your help over there not taking orders from you. Perhaps maybe they should be a bit more proactive, and maybe you should give them a talking to." So I'd like to try and use heat of the moment to taunt somebody into doing something that they might want to do but is unwise by using daring.
Okay.
Does that feel like an appropriate use of this?
Yeah? No, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
So what do you roll for that?
It's daring.
Okay.
So I've got a +1. No, wait, hang on. 2 seconds. Yeah, I've got a +1 to daring. So I roll 2d6.
Yeah.
And then
daring. £10 donation. So.
Way!
Hey!
Yes.
Thank you.
£10 donation has come in. So, if you roll a 6 or less, you'll get to re-roll, Errol.
I got an 8.
An 8. Okay, that is a mixed beat. It's dawned on me that we don't have a donation for mixed beats, but we'll roll with it.
So it says on a 7 to 9, they choose one, which is create an opportunity for you or your allies, or they give you a string on them. I'd like, if it's possible to choose, and I don't know whether you choose or I choose, but an opportunity for distraction would be nice.
What, does it say, like, you choose, or if it just
It says they choose one of these two, so up to you. I think it's up to you.
So what were the options?
Create an opportunity for you or my allies, or they give me a string on them.
Okay. Given that this is his day, the groom is like fully in agreement with you. And like he looks over seeing the bodyguard kind of eyeing you all up. And well, I must admit that the bodyguard is actually the protection of my father, the patriarch. But this is my day. Perhaps I should be the one giving orders. And like he nods. There's another whoosh, flick of the brim of the fedora, and then he as authoritatively as he can, grabs the handle of the neon green katana hanging from his belt, and he like, "Excuse me, ladies, I'm going to be bossy," and he like walks, like strides between the four of you into the middle of the room. Like the bride looks over, cottons on the groom. Aggie, if you're given off the back of kind of watching her earlier, you notice the ever so slight eye twitch of the bride as the groom approaches. And the groom just strides up and, like, loudly in a really nasally voice, just looks up at this bodyguard. I have decided that as this is my day, you will do exactly what I tell you to, he says, and he sort of like starts jabbing a pudgy little finger at the bodyguard's face. And like, she is unmoving. She is this monolith of stoicism. And so it gives you an opportunity to do what, Errol? Sorry?
I'm thinking maybe like stopping the bodyguard from looking at us for like is at the very least getting in the field of vision of the bodyguard observing us, so that we can maybe have a conversation about what we want to do.
So we kind of slip away from her notice, maybe.
So, absolutely, certainly. Like, the bodyguard is now looking down at the groom. Like, there's a good foot and a bit of height difference between them, because he's a short king, and he like, as he's just short Discord mod, but as he's sort of like pointing up and sort of like waggling a finger and just doing all of these sort of like peacocky style moves in front of his newly wedded bride, he's managed to take the notice of the bodyguard off you. So yes, the bride is
scamper out of the way. Is that the idea? Go regroup.
Be in the shadow of a pillar somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I have an idea I'd like to pitch to the group, and I'll turn to Camilla as well. Camilla, darling, you looked like you were going to throw up when you were talking to him. Maybe you should get a drink. Your face genuinely looked, Georgia, like you were like. Anyway, So my idea is, if I can infiltrate the band in some way, maybe we can play. Maybe I can try and encourage the band to play songs that remind her of each of you, so you can get a dance each, maybe. To get close. So that's my idea. I don't know how much you want me to run with it. No chemical romance on this.
Well, who would it be most useful to get up close to her? Probably, I'd say Camilla, as you have the thiefly ways. Or do we want to get her alone for the actual thievery?
Yeah, do we want to encourage her away from the ballroom?
If I go in and I'm all kind of, I'm so happy for you, but I just want to understand what happened with us, can we talk? She might think, oh, Aggie's harmless, and go with me, and then we could unleash step 2, which is yet to be decided.
Nick that necklace.
Yeah,
or if somebody can make, so maybe we've got a plan of I'm thinking with a dance you can at the very least have like a close conversation, right?
Well, actually, yeah.
And it's acceptable within the...
As the will be in a crowd of people, so if we manage to nick the necklace from her somehow, we'll then have to escape that crowd of people.
Perhaps somebody can make her so flustered that she needs to leave the room.
I reckon that would be Camilla, probably. Camilla would fluster the strongest among us.
Or spill something on her, who knows? You know, there's multiple ways that things can...
Well, if it doesn't go to plan, we could always just start causing chaos, and then somebody can whip off the bride somewhere. I
mean, if you need a klutz to spill something on her, here's your gal, I'd say.
If you need someone to punch the groom.
Yeah.
I think we lean into the create chaos, so that staying in the hall is quite embarrassing if we're creating.
Right, so Ravani, get the band playing a song that reminds the bride of Camilla, so Camilla can slip in for a dance and be all, remember the old times, darling. And then I spill the drink, and maybe Mitzi throws a punch, and we kind of get her away from the crowd. Is that it?
Usher her.
Yeah. Nice.
How do we feel about this?
Oh,
do we
love it.
Good.
Let's do it.
Teamwork.
You heard nothing.
Yeah.
You don't know what
So where are we starting first? Like, who? I guess it sounds like Ravani's the first step in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Well, so I think how is there anybody coordinating the band situation? Does there look like, is it the head bridesmaid?
So
Or-
yeah, let's say that there are, so you're scoping around, like a little bit of time passes as you kind of formulate the plan, like trying to figure out how you're going to do things. You notice that the bridesmaid, so the bride's aunt, did we say?
Yep.
Yeah. So the bride's aunt, she is stood in like the garden with the AI bot band. They're kind of playing their bits and bobs. She's stood by it. She stood next to who you found out to be the officiant of the wedding. So Nate, if I could have the wedding bot, please. Talking to this droid wearing official Imperial Patriarchy wedding regalia. Talking. What do we imagine the bride's aunt to look like?
I think she is strong, but like not Mitzi built. You know, she's strong, but not anywhere near Mitzi's sort of strength. But she sort of is somewhat stern. I think she's got like, you know, the slick back bun situation.
Okay. Yeah.
I was picturing Madame Trunchbull slightly.
Well, so this is who you see talking to the wedding bot. So the wedding bot stands around about 5.5-ish feet tall.
Okay.
She's got this sort of like upside down bowl shaped head. The droid is the wedding bot is made up of this kind of glossy white and black like paneling. And she's wearing these long, flowing black robes with like a little white cravat, with kind of gold filigree and whatnot. You can see clutched in one hand is like the holy tome of the Imperial Patriarchy, the Art of the Deal. And like as you approach from like Ravani, as you approach from the side, you can't help but notice that there is an almost undeniable feminine figure on this wedding bot. You there's no delicate way of putting this. You've seen bots like droids like this working in certain establishments in trader ports that are frequented by members of the Imperial Patriarchy, but this one seems to have been repurposed as a wedding bot. And yeah, the wedding bot is talking to the aunt, the bridesmaid. And yeah, Ravani, as you approach the wedding bot, turns and, oh, hello.
Hello. Are you overseeing the musical festivities?
Well, I'm just enjoying the company of fellow droids such as myself before I had the opportunity of speaking to this wonderful lady. I believe she is the bridesmaid. My apologies. I did not see you at the ceremony. How? It is good to meet you. I am Wedding Bot.
Wonderful name, Wedding Bot. How delightfully unique. But perhaps you can call over the bridesmaid. I would like to make a proposal for either yourself or the bridesmaid, whoever is making the coordination efforts of the musical entertainment.
The wedding bot, the bridesmaid is kind of stood with you as well. So if you want to involve her, she can be there. But yeah, the wedding bot looks to the band and says, "Unfortunately, the band have not been processed with conversational processing units. However, they are still versed in the speech, in droid speech. So if you have any requests, I can relay them onto them."
I have a fairly involving request, and I'll turn to the bridesmaid, who maybe I want to try and figure her out before.
Okay.
But I can also influence somebody with a string, correct? That's
Yes.
the two things. So I guess I'll try and figure her out first. I'll roll a wit, and then maybe ask her some questions to get some better information.
Okay.
What's my wit? I'm a +2 wit.
Ooh.
2 dice, right?
2
7
dice.
plus 2.
So 9. That is a mixed. So are you doing a figure it out? Yeah.
I'm doing a figure it out.
Okay. So you may ask 2 questions from the list, but and is this on the bridesmaid, right?
This is on the bridesmaid, yeah.
Okay. So the bridesmaid will get to ask you one back. So, what are your 2 questions from the list?
From the list, I think I feel like you maybe know the brides particularly well. How would you feel if I played something incredibly special for her? My wedding gift, as it were.
The aunt looks at you, and Ravani, in this moment, you've noticed that the aunt here, the bride's aunt, is looking at you in a way that you have seen many others look at you. And she smiles, and I think that would be wonderful, a wonderful gift. I worry that my niece might be feeling a bit lonely with everything that's happening here.
I feel maybe the same. It has been a long time since I have seen her. How can I get you to bring her closer to the dance floor as I play? And I would like to have taken a flower from the flower display quite like subtly. And at this point, I'd like to kind of bring it out from my magical lesbian receptacle purse. And I'd like
we've all got one.
It's the endless bag of various things that lesbians need on any given moment. A flower. Yeah. So I bring out the flower and I kind of inhale it deeply and I say, "You look much too tense. Perhaps you could do with a dance afterwards as well." And I'll kind of tuck it behind her ear and slightly loosen the tight bun at the back as well.
Okay. So how could I get the question?
How can I get you to lead her to the dance floor, the bride?
The bride, so the bridesmaid looks to you as you kind of tuck this flower in, and well, I must admit that I'm suddenly find myself moved moved to have a dance. There's been a lot of talk, and the patriarchy aren't great at displays of emotion. Perhaps we should hurry the first dance along. The sooner that's over, the sooner that we can all get to know one another.
I would love to get to know you very well later on, and perhaps you can invite somebody else. I do love a party.
As you say that to the there's a bit of a lingering stare from the aunt, and then curiously, from sort of like from your left, the third person in this kind of this conversation, you just hear from the wedding bot, and like you glance slightly. And you're not entirely sure, but there seemed to have been the ever so slightest shudder through the frame of the droid. And like the one like iris eye thing on her dome on the bot's dome head just like twitches slightly. Yes. The aunt sort of like nods. She steps kind of around you, and yeah, she says softly as she goes, "I'll see you soon," as she begins making her way into the reception hall. The wedding bot looks to you and you are looking to play some specific songs?
I would.
Speak to the band?
Yes, very much so. You're very good at taking orders.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Have you already kind of got a catalogue of the 4 songs that the songs you'd like to relay?
Camilla, what is the song and or the mood of the song that would remind the bride of Camilla?
I like something high maintenance, and sort of probably violins going on.
Is it an orchestral take of Britney Spears' Toxic?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or maybe Man Eater by Nelly Furtado.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Is that for Fardies, though? That's...
Yeah, I guess so.
Shakira She-Wolf for Mitzi.
Yeah.
Is Tattoo all the things you said, just in
general.
orchestra?
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Amazing. What song did Aggie... Oh, well, it's My Chemical Romance, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It is just Black Parade. The most romantic My Chemical Romance song. Okay, marvellous. In which case, yeah, the as you kind of relay these requests to the wedding bot who is relaying them to the droid band, you, Ravani, you just can't help. You absolutely noticed that when you were just like, oh, you take orders well. Like, the knees on this droid buckled ever so slightly before kind of straightening back out. And yeah, it's like the wedding droid, the wedding bot turns back to you and they will play these songs after the first dance. Have you got anyone to dance with?
Not yet. Why are you free right now?
Oh, and the wedding bot like twirls hair that isn't there. No reason.
Oh, no reason. Then maybe I will find someone else.
There is a robotic whimper, and then, please excuse me, the wedding bot says, and you watch the bot almost run off, like skitters off back into the reception hall. What's Mitzi doing while this is all happening?
Well, I think that Mincy's been given the instruction that there might have to be unissued chaos at some point. Mm-hmm. So just kind of looking around, sort of checking out any ad hoc sort of weapons that can be used out of wedding furniture. But she is incredibly intrigued by the bodyguard.
Mm-hmm. Really?
And I'm gonna use one of my moves called Shameless. And I'm just gonna walk straight up to her, and then basically, when you say aloud what you want from an NPC, you may give them a string on you and then to ask a question about them from Figure Out a Person. So I'm going to walk straight up to our bodyguard, straight up to her, and I'm just Mitzi just gets just straight across, like no like skirting around, just across the middle of the dance floor, and her boots, bam, 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 straight up to her. And just says, "I'm Itzy. Who are you?"
Wait, you say this to the bride or the bodyguard?
No, to the bodyguard.
The bodyguard. Oh, right. Okay.
And it means that is basically she could just get, or like, yeah, she gets an instant string on me, but I get to instantly figure her out. Basically, if I just shamelessly just come up to her, and I'm just like, "I'm Itzy. How'd you get this gig then? You look, what? How did you get your biceps so big? What's your gym routine?"
So I think I will contextualize this that the first dance has been called. The bride and the bride and the groom are currently very awkwardly like shuffling around the middle of the dance floor. What is the first song? Definitely picked by the groom.
Something basic.
I mean, I'm
Every breath you take.
I was genuinely thinking Every Breath You Take,
Yeah.
or like Crazy Frog, but perhaps it's a medley.
I was also thinking Crazy Frog.
Okay,
The two worst songs. You can
It
I
is-
was thinking about Robin Thicke because
no.
like surely.
yes. Okay, I think we, Georgia, we've been trumped. We have a winner. Yeah. So that's playing.
So they're just dancing to Blurred Lines at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Fabulous. So yeah,
I bet she looks miserable about it.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna walk straight through, almost sort of through the bride and the groom. Just see the just
Yeah.
bulldozer,
Okay.
bulldozers straight through just everyone, and she just comes straight up to the bodyguard, and just all at once she says, "Who are you? How'd you get your biceps so big? Do you want to dance?"
The bodyguard looks down at you. So she gets a string on you.
She gets a string on me, but I get I
Get to
instantly
figure
go
out.
in to figure out. So,
Okay. So is that like a figure out a person's success?
yes, yeah.
Okay. So what two questions would you like to ask?
I would
I'll
like
flavour
to
her.
ask. Well, yeah, I would like to ask. I can ask two now or later in the scene.
Mhm.
So
It
if
says
she
ask
decides-
a question. It doesn't say two in the shameless bit. That's just me being.
oh, just one question. Is it? Okay.
Hey! Thank you very much for
just the
the
one.
explanation.
I think it's just the one.
That's all right. So I'm going to ask, what are your feelings towards the bride? Or how
Okay.
do you feel about being the bride? So what's it like working for Bridie over there? Or
Okay,
not
yeah.
not what's his face, the groom.
The
Inverted
bodyguard stiffens slightly as you approach, and then as she turns to you and sort of like her cybernetic eye focuses on you slightly, like you hear it whirring as it kind of zooms in on your face.
Calibrating.
These muscles are finely tuned and crafted for the prosperity of the Imperial Patriarchy, so I may perform my duties to the best of my capabilities. This is a responsibility that I've been training for since birth. My responsibility and duty is not to the bride, but to the patriarchy.
Ooh.
And as she
That's a shame.
That is a
Like-
shame.
as she says that, she turns her head slightly to look at like the head table that like the bride and the groom and the family are, and you can see there are 2 empty seats for the bride and groom, but sat next to the groom's seat, and Nate will need will need this picture, sat seemingly like, well, he stood up, he's so excited, but he's like doubled over slightly, and he's slowly rubbing his knees, like with his hands, like his thighs and knees with his hands. You assume this to be the groom's father, the patriarch, wearing
I love his hat. I love his hat. Oh my god.
Wearing official Imperial Patriarchy regalia. The same glossy black armor of the troopers, the crown of authority jutting from his head, this large kind of curved cylinder of authority that, you know, he's got a real big head, like on his, and like 2 large bulbous shoulder pads, and like his coat flickers slightly as he kind of as he watches his son dance with the bride, and as the bodyguard kind of looks over, and my responsibility is to the patriarch. But Mitzi, you then, like, the bodyguard then concludes with a bit of a dejected sigh. As she looks over at this old wrinkly man in his official uniform. But yes, she like, she looks to you, and like there's a slight head tilt as if she's just figuring something out about you. And like, there's a bit of murmuring around the room because this large neon pink wearing wolf girl was just strode, almost to the middle of the dance floor to talk to the bodyguard. What was the next stage of the plan? It was just kind of create a bit of distraction, a bit of chaos.
Well, I think that kind of needs to happen when Camilla is dancing with her. So I just want to ask if the bodyguard wants to dance with me, because she hasn't got anything to do at the moment, so she might as well have a little dance.
Well, in which case, Camilla, as you see Mitzi go to start this like distraction, and then you're like, oh, the first dance is coming to an end, we will all be invited up to dance. Robin Thicke finishes, and like the bride and groom turn to regard the gathered crowds, like the gathered guests, and like, Camilla, you're about to like stand up to get ready to head to the dance floor, and then from across the room, the patriarch from behind the table shouts, "Do it now! Now! It must be now!" And the groom like looks over to his dad and like looks to the bride, and "Now," he says, and the patriarch still rubbing his thighs.
No.
Yes.
What the heck?
And you watch the bride, like the bride looks confused, and then the groom almost like seizes her by the wrist and, "My beautiful bride, we must retire to the wedding suite.
Oh no.
Now is the time to propagate the Imperial Patriarchy. I have waited for this day for many, many, many weeks.
Oh.
For now, it is the time," I hope I can say this, Nate, "to bleed."
No! Absolutely not.
You didn't have to say it.
Why?
And in what appears to be a seeming break from tradition, the groom then, for all intents and purposes, begins hoiking the bride out of the reception room, and she's just like, that's stunned as she's led away to the marriage suite. And okay. We've had
Oh.
£100.
Oh gosh.
We've had. Thank you,
Wow.
Anonymous.
Gosh.
Oh
Does
my
that mean
God.
we all? Does that mean we all
We
have
all
to kiss?
We all kiss.
Everyone.
Hold on.
Oh my God. Right.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Like a quick callback to Antonio earlier for the £10. Like, we've got 2 re-rolls on fails, but yeah,
Yes.
£100. That's amazing. I feel like, because £40 is immediately kissed to inject some chaos, right?
Right.
So,
I suppose that's the only way we can stop this from happening. This.
well,
I'll just have to kiss the
Dragging
Goddy
the
Bod.
bride.
I don't mind. I don't mind taking one for the team. I'll kiss the Goddy Bod. I don't mind. I don't mind.
I
Really
think
don't mind. I really
don't-
don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Keep.
I don't mind.
Yeah. Keep the bodyguard busy, and then we can all follow.
Well, here we go, because we've got about half hour-ish left.
Yeah.
20 minutes left. So, off the back of £100, if we take the £40, the amount of chaos from £40 and like exaggerate it to £100, as the patriarch is like now, and the groom's like dragging the bride off to the wedding suite, the patriarch then, yes, we knew of your coming, you lesbians, he says. And now you're right where we want you. The trap has been sprung. And you hear the sounds of blasters all being leveled towards you. The bodyguard in the middle of the room is just like, wait, what? Because some of the blasters are also kind of pointing at her. But it would seem that you have, in fact, been lured in and a trap has been sprung.
No!
And like the bride's just like looking over her shoulder as these troopers like level, like the guests are screaming like, ah, because there's laser blasters pointed at them. But in this sudden explosion of chaos, Camilla, you're halfway up to go for your dance, and yeah, there are now imp pat troopers pointing laser blasters at you. What do you do in this exact moment?
I sprint towards the bride. I grab her other wrist and I pull her in for a kiss in a way that kind of also uses her body as a shield.
Okay, so
Perfect.
as you are you oh my God. Okay, so if as you sprint across the room, like the groom is caught unawares as you go in. Is this a move? Is this? I mean, there's.
I could roll for grace, or
I think this is a defy disaster.
Defy disaster. Yes.
Yeah. How are you defying disaster in this exact moment? So you're running across.
Well, I feel. I mean, I don't know if Camilla is the strongest person, but I feel like there's not much that would break this groom's grip on the bride.
Yeah, for some reason, his like right hand has got a really tight grip. It's really,
Just the right one,
really
mate.
secure.
Yeah, really good.
Sorry, Khan.
So I'm sort of yanking her out of, away from her, being taken away from the room, and also sort of being taken away from us and our ability to steal her necklace. And I'm also averting disaster from me being shot in my very beautiful face by using her as a
as a body shield. Okay. Amazing. Roll me a grace defy disaster then, please, and we'll see how well you do.
What is my? I'm on the wrong page. What is my grace? +1. 2d6, right?
2d6, correct. Yeah.
Oh,
5 plus how much? Sorry,
1.
a
so
6.
it's a reroll.
We've got
It is a
reroll.
reroll. You've got
Two
rerolls.
rerolls for failures.
Tony, thank you for the reroll.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you may absolutely roll that again.
Hey!
Well,
Yay.
Thank you,
So-
reroll.
A 10 plus, a reroll well spent. You do it with style. At the GM's discretion, you may learn new information, discover a new opportunity, or gain a string on someone. Okay, So as you bolt across the room, you seize the bride, and as you pull in, the two of you like passionately kiss in the middle of the room, and there is a flurry of like pearl clutching gasps from the gathered guests, and like a number of the troopers just gently peer around from their blasters to see what to watch, and you hear from the other side, like from behind the bride, you hear, "That's so hot," from the room. And sort of like as the patriarch is just like, take her down, you're able to sort of like in effect like ballroom dance grab,
like dip kiss. Like...
yeah, and as you're like spinning, you can see the troopers like, oh wait, no, and they can't quite get a bead on you without accidentally blasting the bride into an early grave. So at the GM's discretion, you may learn new information, new opportunity, or a string on someone. The bride sort of like, she pulls away. She is blushing. Like, you know, she's also being thrown around because you're using her as a meat shield. But she, Camilla, she says, as she like looks deep into your eyes, I'm gonna give you. So she broke up with you because. Okay. She looks absolutely flustered. You can have a string on the bride.
Hey.
And like there's this look in her eyes that you immediately recognize as one that says, like, it's clear that she's in the middle of a plan. Yeah, she kind of gives you this look, and like from behind her, you can hear the groom going, "Can both of you come to the womb?" But yes, so currently the blasters are all pointed at Camilla, but they're not shooting because it's too hot a target. What's Ravani doing?
Ravani is instructing the bot musicians to play like the most loud and intense getaway music possible. Like soundtrack style, and is unsheathing her sword from the neck of her instrument, her sitar, and striding into the center of the room, of the kind of dance floor, and ready to fight, essentially. And kind of near Camilla says, maybe we get the prize and also the person that holds the prize. Still the prize.
Well, as the bride looks like it's a bit taken aback when you kind of stride forward, Ravani, and kind of make yourselves known. The bride's gonna, like, she manages to wiggle. The groom is excited enough that his palms got sweaty enough that she's able to retrieve her hand from his. And she looks to the two of you, and she would like to spend strings on you.
Oh boy.
Okay. She would like to.
She remembers being between us before.
She does remember being between the two of you. Absolutely. She looks to you, the two of you. She says, "If you can find us a way out, and we'll escape this together," she says, with like a knowing look. And she would like to spend a string on both of you, so you would get like an XP. But if you agree to it, then she spends the string. Otherwise, she doesn't. So she would like you to help her plot out an escape plan, like an escape route.
Amazing.
I think Ravani looks to Camilla, because when Camilla went in with that level of grace and daring, I think Ravani was a little bit smitten. So I know,
I'm
right?
smitten.
A little bit.
Exciting. Nice.
She's very impressed, and she kind of turns to Camilla and, "Your call."
Well, darling, it might cost you.
The bride quickly responds, "We can sort out the details later, no?" And currently the groom is pouring at her, somewhat uselessly.
Oh.
Like, time is of the essence. Do you agree to help her forge an escape plan?
I think we agree. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Aggie, real quick.
Yeah.
What are you doing as the blasters are pointed up?
I think Aggie may have the way out for all of us. She's got this astral dance move where if we all dance together, she can teleport people far away. So I could get us back to the ship if I roll well. So I think that would be my culminating move. But I need to get to everybody and convince them to all dance with me in the middle of a Mexican standoff. Yeah. And the bride. So I don't know if you want me to do that now or just like try and incapacitate the guard closest to me.
Well, I think so. The astral dance, what does that entail?
When you dance across the boundary into the realm beyond, describe it and roll grace. And on a 10, you and a small number of others who dance with you arrive at a distant destination of your choice. If it's a 7 to 9, it might go slightly wrong.
Okay. I would argue then, as all the blasters are pointed up, everyone's really confused. The bride was being carted away by the groom to the wedding suite to consummate, and she's just been grabbed and kissed by Camilla. Ravani's come up. There's a bit of a triangle with a.
I might need Mitzi to get the groom off the bride in order to then do the astral dance. Yes, would that be all right if I let Mitzi go next?
Okay, yep. Well,
all right with you.
For all extents and purposes, if you're planning on, if Aggie is planning on running into the middle of the dance for all to kind of potentially astral dance everyone away back, back to the ship. Mitzi, currently the threats beyond all of the guns pointing in the middle of the room are the bodyguard who's currently looking at you, and the groom, who's starting to get a bit irate because no one is paying him any attention.
As if I just quickly, as I look to the bodyguard, do I feel like she is an imminent threat, or is she just equally as confused in this situation?
Is she coming with us?
I feel like perhaps you might need to do another figure someone out.
That's fine. I will quickly figure her out. Have we still got
£100 donation?
Have we still got that £100 donation?
Yeah.
Is that still relevant?
Yeah, you know it is.
Can I figure her out with my tongue then?
Now we're playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Come on.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay. I think as this all just kind of happens all within in a matter of seconds, she's just like asking the bodyguard to dance. And at that point, she's just like, I think Mitzi feels a bit bad, but actually she's probably not going to be able to dance with the bodyguard. So she just grabs her by her lapels and just drags her in and just gives her a great big kiss.
Okay, so for anyone who's wondering, finally kiss in a dangerous situation is legitimately a move in Thirsty Sword Lesbians. So we've already had it between Camilla and the bride. So when people finally kiss after a period of tension, I will call that this, you take +1 ongoing to get to safety and protect the other for the rest of the scene. So, like, you see the bodyguard. She is, like, her head's flicking backwards and forwards because clearly she's just a bit torn. Because for a start, these imp blasters are also pointing at her as well as, like, you lot. The groom is insufferable. The patriarch is still rubbing his thighs and kind of salivating slightly. And like she is clearly her loyalties are being strongly tested, and it's like as she turns to look at you, that like her cybernetic eye like opens wider as like she sees you come in, there's a bit of a she tenses up for a moment, and then as she's put her arms on her hands on your arms, and like Mitzi, you feel an ever so slight squeeze, and then suddenly there is significantly more pressure on your face as she leans in, and like the guests, there's another round of from the gathered guests as there's another lesbian snog in the middle of the dance floor, and the groom is momentarily distracted from his irritation of being ignored because hot before he turns back to being distracted. You may absolutely kiss. You will both get +1 on going. The bodyguard is now on side.
Hey! So as Mitzi, she just kind of, they have this wonderful kiss, big, passionate, strong kiss. She kind of moves, just kind of like releases her from the kiss, and she just says, "Sorry, I've just got to deal with something." And she goes beast mode. So she's transforming. She's going beast mode. So as she releases the bodyguard, she can see sort of in slow-mo, she's like moving away from her. It's like her body's getting larger and larger, and she just goes, and suddenly she's on all fours, and she just runs like a panther and towards the groom, and she's going to take him out in one fell swoop and just grab that boy.
This is
Brilliant.
A fight.
Yes, that is a fight. I'm seeking to incapacitate someone. 100%. That's
Amazing.
what I'm doing.
Okay. So please roll with daring or grace.
It's going to be daring. I've got +2.
Launch yourself at the groom.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. That's a 10.
That's a 10, Dan.
Okay, you may choose 3 from the list, and your opponent chooses 1 to apply to you in response. So, as the groom, as you fucking like tackle him, tell me which. So, do you want to flirt or provoke with your opponent?
No.
Through violence or cutting words, inflict a condition?
Doing through violence. I'm going to inflict a condition.
Okay.
So, and cutting words. I think she just thwacks straight onto him.
In the interests of time and chaos, if you're not going to flirt or provoke with the groom, I mean, why not? He's an upstanding gentleman.
Yeah. I'm seizing a superior position. Yeah. I'm on top of him.
Yeah.
I am creating an opportunity for Camilla to take the bride. And I'm going to inflict a condition. I need to quickly go through the conditions.
Well,
Frightened, I guess.
Don't worry about the condition right now.
Hopeless, because he is.
Hopeless. Well, actually, okay, yeah. We'll see how that one looks in a moment. As you pounce on the groom, he is sort of like bowed over. Like one of his sandals flies off.
Crocs.
And like.
His wedding Crocs.
He didn't have them in sports mode, so they've just got flown off.
Like he lands on his back hard enough that the cheap like eBay katana, like neon green katana, just bends under his weight as he lands on it. And like in a beautiful display of like pro wrestling style, like actual like proper competitive wrestling, you're able to sort of like knock him down and then immediately like pin him, spin him around, and sort of like get him in a headlock. What are you headlocking him with, like your arms or your legs?
I wouldn't headlock him with my legs. He doesn't deserve
Okay.
that. I would headlock him with my I'm gonna have him. I'm just gonna noogie him just the entire time.
In which
I'm gonna
case,
take off of his fedora. I'm gonna throw that to the side so everyone can see his widow's peaks.
as you take off his white fedora, you are met with your own reflection in the bald spot on the back of his head, which there's telltale signs of like desperate comb overing.
Yeah.
But it's all just a bit fedora hat hair. But as you like get your arm round and lock it and you begin squeezing, you watch as his cheeks like inflate and he goes a bit red, and he starts like squeaking as you kind of basically choke him out. And there's like, as his eyes begin to bulge from his head slightly, the world goes quiet for a moment as he like tilts his head up to look at you ever so slightly, and then you hear him say, "Harder," and then he expires.
As he should.
He
It's
just
the kindest thing for him.
there's just this build up. There's an increasing amount of tension, and then he just releases, and he is no longer breathing.
Wow.
He releases, Dan. He
releases all of the pent up
Breath.
tension, and
right.
And he's gone.
And he is gone on to the next life. And Mitzi, there is arguably a moment where you're kind of looking down, thinking, "Really, like that quick?" Before you release him, and as the groom slumps to the ground dead, you hear from the corner, from the patriarch. And like as the patriarch watches his son dies, like the patriarch lifts his fingers up and yells, "Unlimited power!" He just shakes his hands in your directions, and nothing happens. But
He's just describing the experience of being a middle-aged white man in the Imperial Patriarchy, isn't he?
basically, Aggie, you like. Given that the groom is dead, it would seem that there are now only non-friendly targets in the middle of the room. Now is quite an apt moment for your astral dance.
I'm gonna run in. I'm gonna look around because I've not had a kiss yet, and everyone else seems to be kissing. And does anyone seem like they want to kiss right now? Like,
in the center of the dance hall. So I guess just to re-clarify, we've got Camilla, who's holding kind of hands with the bride, who's kind of holding hands with Ravani.
Okay,
You've got the bodyguard, who's just like her hair's just a bit frazzled. And
got Mitzi, who's on top of a dead groom.
Mitzi on top of the dead groom. And like,
okay, no, I'm gonna say excuse me to the bodyguard, and I'm gonna lean down to Mitzi and say, "I've never loved your beast form more." And then little kissy, and then I'm gonna start doing my little dance.
Okay. In which case, as you begin your dance, I will suggest that you hear a voice bellow from the group, from the crowd, like the guests, "Wait for me!" And as you turn and look, you see the aunt, the bridesmaid, make it barreling into the middle of the room. The bride is just like, "Auntie," as she comes sliding in, and like the bridesmaid kind of reaches the group of you and then turns, like looks around, realizes she's missing something, and then she turns to look back at the wedding bot and she points and says, "You here now," in a really authoritative tone. And you just hear from the crowd, and the wedding bot just like just clatters into the middle.
Not sure I'm going to be able to astral dance this many people, but I'll try.
There is
It's fine.
there is just this clearly ever-present sense of confusion from all of the troopers pointing their blasters at the center of the room. Who else is going to arrive here? But please roll me your astral dance.
Come on.
Okay, so that's a fail. No, it's a mixed success technically because I've got
We
plus
s-
2 to my grace.
Do we still have one?
We still have
reroll,
one
don't we?
left.
And we also have one plus for me and 1 plus for Mitzi for getting out safely, which I assume means you can add 2 to your.
It will be so hang on.
Can I
Did
re-roll
Aggie-
using the £10 that we were very
You can absolutely
generously-
re-roll using the
Yeah.
£10.
Let's see
Can
what
I?
we can go with it. Yeah, go with the
And
reroll and we'll see.
I would say
Yay!
It's a 10! It's a 10! I can get us back to the ship, no problems!
What's the dance? Is it the Macarena?
Yeah. It's a group wedding Macarena. Everybody has to do it.
Okay. I would argue that this seems absolutely ludicrous as far as tabletop RPG hotline goes, but truth be told, we're not that far off what's written in the
We
book.
need to finish, Dan.
We need to finish. So, as you do a group wedding Macarena, a celebration of
No, a group Macarena, but spooky.
It's a true celebration of everything, like everything Sapphic. Like the patriarch, like realizing that his force lightning hasn't worked as he saw it did in the movies. He then shouts like fire. And finally, after standing like lemons for a good kind of minute, there is a chorus of blaster fire as they all shoot into the middle of the room, just as your astral dance. Like, what does it look like as you teleport away?
I think it's probably like as they're about to start firing, a sort of wave of dark energy goes out from us, and then and as it comes back into a singularity, we're all gone.
Okay. In which case, as the singularity kind of collapses, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's like
7.
at least 8 of us.
I think there's 7 of you.
This is 7. Okay.
7. So you 4,
Yeah.
the bodyguard, the sub bot, and
the bod.
the aunt. So yeah, as the 7 of you disappear into nothingness and kind of reappear on your ship, Aggie, the circle of blaster fire into the middle hits nothing and carries on and perfectly hits every Imperial Patriarchy trooper on the opposite side of the room for whoever fired. And there's just a chorus of as they all collapse.
Dan,
Yeah.
can I add one edit? Maybe the hottest female soldier that shoots manages to catch part of my clothes, and they and as the singularity completes,
Okay.
like one part of Ravani's clothes. Oh.
We will retroactively add one of the scoundrel's moves, rip. So yes, as you dashed in, recontextualize all of this, because what part of clothing are you bereft of when you arrived in the middle of the dance floor, Ravani?
I feel like she's got like a sort of strap halter neck evening gown going on, and I like to think that the laser fire perfectly kind of cut a boob window, like full like the meme which is like side boob, under boob, top boob, like it's every kind of view of boob line that you could possibly want from every angles.
Okay.
Yeah, happens all the time.
All the time. Just a everyday hazard. Okay, so as you teleport away, this one like Imperial Patrol trooper, Imperial Patriarchy trooper, just like, whoa, and like it's like watching you, Ravani, like disappear. You all reemerge on the on Aggie's ship. Like klaxons and alarms are going off, and you're able to fundamentally just like gun it, burst out the side of the car park, and like your ship just like haphazardly flies away in the most like quick as you like, escape from this patrol. Thankfully, it would seem that every single Imperial Patrol trooper has been shot by another Imperial Patriarchy trooper. But yeah, as your ship kind of clatters off into the stars, the four of you turn to regard specifically the bride. She looks to you just like a bit shocked and frazzled because that was a lot in a very short space of time. And what do you like? Your zingy one-liners that you say to her as she sort of like looks to you all with a smirk, like rolling the necklace between her fingers and thumbs that she's managed to like get away with. As she looks to you and says, "Well, it's good to see you all," she says, looking slightly sheepish. But what's Camilla's witty one-liner?
Well, darling, I told you I'd moved on.
And Ravani?
I think Ravani goes towards like an area where she keeps things, pulls out some papers, flashback to going to a like civil service like building and retrieving some blank divorce papers ahead of time. She strides back over, full boob on display, gives a little kiss to the aunt and a little kiss to the robot and a little pat on the head, and then there you go, darling. We have prepared this ahead of time for you.
And Mitzi's witty one-liner?
I think she's still in bestial form, so it's just saliva just flowing out of her jaws at the moment. I imagine just like sort of half of the trousers of her groom sort of stuck in her teeth as she's like ripped like part of his trousers off as she's like just bitten into him. And she's just like, "I said the beast would come in handy."
And witty one-liner from Maggie?
I don't know if it's witty, but she'll just sort of look at the bride and say, "You look well. Your taste has gone downhill, hasn't it?"
The bride, okay. I'll let you decide this as a group. As the bride sort of like looks from Camilla and blushes slightly, looks to Ravani, blushes slightly, looks to Mitzi, blushes a lot. But as she turns to you, Aggie, sorry, who are you? I will let you collectively decide whether you want to fire her out the airlock or not.
No, get the necklace first.
Just grab the necklace and just push her out the airlock. So she just falls out while the necklace is still in the hand.
Yeah. What's the vote? Out the airlock?
Out the airlock.
Out the airlock?
Maybe like a shuttle, like an escape.
Yeah. Put her in one of the shuttles.
Send her back to the wedding venue.
Yeah, bit of a time out. Just pop her in the shuttle.
She can bloody have him.
Take the thing. Off she goes.
In which case, as she says, "Oh, like who are you?" There's just a sudden focus between the four of you, and within a flurry, Mitzi, you manage to grab the necklace. Ravani and Camilla, you hoik her up and throw her into the lifeboat shuttle, the life pod, as you fire her back to the moon of Sapphic.
Aggie slaps the button saying, "See ya!"
It literally says "See ya" on the button, and as she gets pinged out back towards from whence she just came, the four of you hurtle off into the stars with the necklace and the target of your heist. And congratulations, everyone, on successfully being Thirsty Sword lesbians. So that was that. That was again, as I say,
that was an experience.
That's not actually all that far off what the book expects that you'll get up to. Yeah, that was Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly did. I hope the four of you enjoyed it. it's if this sounds like it's your sort of thing, absolutely give it a look. Especially like if you're a fan of like tabletop RPGs like D&D or Pathfinder or Daggerheart or any of the numerous other options. Reading through this, we've noticed just how how much of a different game that you can get out of it. It kind of put the focus more on what's going on inside your characters rather than punching and kicking people.
You can also punch and kick people, though.
You can also punch and kick people, to be fair, though. Yes. So, thank you for the donations to Antonia, to Nate, and to that anonymous £100. That was absolutely amazing. Really, really appreciate that. And anything else? Stick around after this. I believe is another Nate sponsored drawathon. It is indeed marvelous.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good laugh. Some of us will be back for that. If you want to catch more of us collectively doing stuff, you can find us over on Explorers of Elsewhere, on YouTube and on Twitch. We're ramping up for a new campaign in our kind of in our setting that we've made. You can find Nate playing with us as well. Just a really grand group of people doing some really fun, making some really fun stories. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Bye-bye.